A long time ago. I started off 23 years ago, and I started off as a temps controller on junior finance. So it's in my blood, and it's always given me a massive buzz ever since I started in recruitment.
So I've now worked in the interim finance space for just shy of 7 years now, operating in the Cambridge, Peterborough and Northampton areas predominantly.
Probably about 20 years now across Peterborough and Cambridge.
So I started my journey in recruitment probably about 9 years ago now, for a smaller agency, and then joined the One Group 7 years ago.
I think it has its ups and downs like all recruitment. I think interim roles, just due to the fast-paced nature, can be quite stressful, particularly when you've got the children at home and you need to speak to a client or a candidate very quickly. I've often locked myself out into the garden before in order to do this.
It's full on, it's fast, it's furious, and anybody of a certain age will understand what I say when I say it's like being in the ready money round. It is something you have to be always on your toes. You've got to be quick to react and never rest on your laurels. But I love it. It keeps my adrenaline rushing, and I would never not want to recruit for temporary staff. I think it's fantastic for both client and candidate.
Love that it is so fast paced. Most of the roles I get do need quite a quick turnaround, especially if it's to cover maybe a period of absence. So I'm always up against it in terms of a time scale. So yeah, it's fast paced, it's quick. It's good fun.
Such a thrill when I meet a candidate that I know is really good for an organisation, but maybe doesn't fit any of the permanent requirements they've got at the moment. So I really enjoy making that sort of initial placement for somebody and seeing that really progress into something long term over the years.
I think the most challenging thing about temping is getting people to see the benefits from their point of view. So a client can get so much from having somebody in on a temporary basis, and a candidate can add so much value to their experience on a temporary basis. But sometimes people see temp in the old-fashioned manner of just getting somebody in to cover for sickness, or they're not good enough for a permanent job, so we'll just get them on as a temp. So it's getting people to buy into the message, but I am passionate enough about it that I actually think people can pick up on that, and once they've gone down the temp route, I think it's only the first time where there might be questions. From there on in, it's probably a bit of a no-brainer.
I think the challenging part is sometimes having the candidates that are available at no notice. Most of the roles do need quite a quick start, so finding those people with the right skill set that are immediately available can be challenging. But normally if you build a good network, you can maintain a good candidate pool, so it's not always too difficult, but yeah, that's probably the main challenge.
I think it's just the pace that differentiates the two. In a permanent job, in the space of 24 hours, if you're on annual leave or something, not a lot can happen within that time. Whereas, in the interim space, within 24 hours, another agency has probably filled the job.
Key difference is speed. Permanent recruitment happens over a period of time, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on the seniority. Temporary recruitment, if it's done properly, will happen within a day or two. You'll get somebody in, whether it's on an interview or we get them in on a working interview, and the client will have their problem solved within 48 hours, best case scenario. So it's just timing. I think that's the big key difference.
We say that it's fulfilling, it's flexible, and I think for some it is an absolute lifeline. So that would be, maybe you've made redundant and you're a little bit worried about paying the bills and the mortgage or popping food on the table, and temporary work can kind of offer that really quick earning potential, fast income while you're looking for something a bit more permanent.
Career enhancing, quick return on their bank account, and confidence building.
Learn new skills, experience new industries. So maybe you haven't worked in that particular industry before, you can get to know different places and different types of companies.
So a temporary employee would work via the One Group, and ostensibly we are their employer. So we pay them on a weekly basis in arrears, whereas in a permanent basis you would likely be paid monthly in arrears. So you get a very quick return. We are the employer in terms of providing holiday pay, we have a pension scheme, we tax at source, so it's the same as if you were part of an employer's payroll. And I think the key thing is the quick wins in terms of we're all suffering with the cost of living increases at the moment. If you want to add some extra pennies to your bank account, temping is a way of getting that money coming in within minimum a week of starting, maximum 2 weeks of starting. It's a fantastic way of getting quick returns.
If you're a temporary PAYE employee via the One Group, you are paid by ourselves on a weekly basis. What happens when you go into temporary work? Quite often in permanent, people are used to talking about a salary, so they might be looking for a salary of circa 30,000. And if they secured a temporary job that pays that, that would move back into an hourly rate. So each week you do a timesheet that gets approved by the client, and the One Group then pay you 1 week in lieu. On top of that, you've got your holiday and your pension all sort of accruing and building up in the background.
Yeah, I have many. One which sticks out quite a lot though, as it was my first ever placement with a temporary worker, and I went to ring the bell and completely missed it.
I could say that it was all fine and dandy in the world of Anne and temp recruitment, but I've had some horrendous situations where people haven't shown up, where one person was somewhat intoxicated. However, I can safely say that all those clients I've worked with where something didn't go as hoped are still my clients.
So many memories, most of which probably aren't appropriate to share, but I think the best memories have always been when people have been so grateful for the help. Sometimes filling temporary roles is about maybe putting a square peg into a round hole, if that's the right way round. And the clients, when they're really grateful for you finding that person that's got them out of a sticky situation or helped them with a project or covered a period of absence, just the thanks that you get, they're genuinely really happy and pleased, and yeah, they're the nice memories to know that you've really helped somebody get out of a situation.
So I had this really lovely situation once actually. I've got a client that I support really frequently actually, in various business units, and one year they were doing Valentine's cookies for all of their staff. I thought it was lovely because a few of my temps were like, oh my gosh, I got this lovely cookie, etc, etc. And I actually myself, it was later in the day it arrived, I got my own cookie, and I just thought that was really lovely because I had loads of different temps there, I know loads of the staff, but it really made me as a consultant feel quite valued, so that was good.
Absolutely, I would be a temp. I think it gives you variety, it doesn't put too much pressure on you. My husband used to be a contractor in IT, and he loved the fact that every 6 months or however long he would change jobs. He never got bored. He's got a very short attention span. Yes, I would temp without a shadow of doubt.
100%. I think it's a really, really good option to have. If you're bridging the gap in between two permanent roles through redundancy or whatever, it's good to bridge that gap, which clients are sometimes really sceptical of. I think B, it's a chance to, just take some time off as and when you need it. If you want 3 months off in the summer, you can do it. And C, it's a way to really upskill your CV really quickly.
When I was about 17 or 18, I did temp for a high street agency actually. I temped via them in the most boring job, but with the most amazing people. So I had a great time, had an absolute hoot. Now, I kind of forgot about temporary, and I had a career change probably about 8.5, 9 years ago now, and I left a job with nothing to go to, and temp didn't even cross my mind. I really, really love where I am today. However, I do sometimes think maybe I should have gone into temping then. I wish I'd considered it. I think potentially I would have learnt more about myself, learnt more about different industries that I just wouldn't or haven't had the opportunity to sort of explore. So 100% I would temp, and yeah, I think it could be really fun.
Definitely. Before I worked in recruitment, I was a temp. I've been there, I've done it. I did loads of different temporary assignments when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do long term. So I can, definitely say it's such a good opportunity to experience new things, be who you are and try and work out what you want to do, or use it to fill a gap if you're in between positions. So 100% I would temp. It was so much fun when I did it forever ago, and I'd definitely do it again if I needed to.